I wake up at 9 on Thanksgiving morning to something wrong. Silence. The Kessler family house, our 5-bedroom monument to middle-class aspiration, is never silent on Thanksgiving. Mom should already be downstairs, the kitchen alive with the heavy scent of a turkey roasting in the oven. Dad should be parked in front of the television, the volume turned far too high as the Macy's parade plays. Corbin and Sloan should be arguing over who gets the best bathroom first. But there is nothing, only the faint mechanical hum of the heating system kicking on. I sit upright, dragging a hand through my messy hair, listening more carefully. No cabinet doors slamming, no running water, no footsteps overhead. "Hello?" I call, my voice sounding strange in the stillness. No reply comes, and a ripple of unease moves through me. I grab my phone from the nightstand. No texts, no missed calls, nothing to explain why the morning feels so off. I swing my legs over the edge of the bed, suddenly fully alert. The hardwood floor is icy beneath my bare feet as I step into the hallway. "Mom? Dad?" I try again, louder. My siblings' bedroom doors are open. Their beds are empty, neatly made, clearly untouched overnight. Downstairs, the kitchen gleams with unnatural cleanliness. No turkey defrosting on the counter, no bowls of ingredients waiting to become stuffing, no cranberries, no mess, no preparation of any kind. Only my coffee mug from last night rests alone in the sink. I walk to the front window and pull the curtain aside. The driveway is empty. Every vehicle is gone. My parents' sedan, Corbin's dented Jeep, even the 7-seater SUV I had filled with gas yesterday for our trip to Uncle Dean's. A ridiculous explanation flashes through my mind. Maybe they ran out for some last-minute grocery item. But the house does not feel temporarily empty. It feels abandoned, hollow. I pick up my phone again and open my contacts. My mother's number is gone. My father's too. I scroll in growing panic. Corbin, Sloan, even Rhett, all erased. "What the hell?" I whisper, my pulse accelerating. Then memory surfaces. Last night, Rhett asking to borrow my phone. "Hey sus, can I check the score? Mine's dead." 19 years old and incapable of charging his own device. I had handed it over without thinking. Clever, but not clever enough. He removed the contacts but didn't block the numbers. My call history remains, and most of their numbers are burned into my memory anyway, Uncle Dean's especially. I dial and pace the kitchen while it rings. "Hello?" His tone is easy, cheerful. "Uncle Dean, it's Krista. Where is everyone?" A brief pause. "Krista? Oh, you're still home." Something in his hesitation makes my stomach twist. Then I hear it in the background, the steady crash of ocean waves, the soft, unmistakable strum of a ukulele. "Where are you?" I ask, though I already know the answer cannot be his New England home where we were supposed to gather today. His voice lowers. "Your parents planned a big surprise for their 30th anniversary. They all flew to Maui last night." My fingers tighten around the counter, knuckles whitening. "All of them?" "They assumed you were busy with work," he continues, sounding uncomfortable, "and they didn't want you worrying about the cost." The cost. The word echoes in my head. The vacation funded with money I have poured into this house for years. Before I can respond, I hear Sloane's voice in the background. "God, are you talking to her? I thought the plan was to just let her stay home." Uncle Dean tries to hush her, but it's too late. I've heard enough. "Krista, wait," he begins. I end the call. The kitchen feels colder as I stand motionless, my phone clenched in my hand. This was not a spontaneous prank. It was deliberate. They erased my contacts. They slipped away in the night. They chose to leave me behind. My eyes drift to the calendar on the refrigerator. Today's date is circled in my careful handwriting. Thanksgiving at Uncle Dean's. Beside it, the checklist I completed to prepare. Clean guest bathroom, gas up SUV, buy wine. Not a prank, a calculated exclusion. They wanted a luxury getaway using money I helped provide, and they did not want me there. I wait for tears, for grief to crush me. It never comes. Instead, a strange clarity settles over me. Every moment of the past 6 years sharpens into focus. Every check, every bill, every sacrifice while my siblings simply took. I don't cry. I don't shout. I stand in the silent kitchen of a house that was never truly mine, feeling something final settle inside me. I am done. The phone screen fades to black in my hand. Uncle Dean's voice and Sloane's careless complaint linger like echoes. I lower myself into a chair at the empty kitchen table. My lone coffee mug in the sink seems to confirm that I am the only one who exists here at all. The house feels enormous now, every empty space amplifying the truth. 6 years. The number appears in my mind with cold precision. 6 years of being the invisible support beam. 6 years of watching my income vanish into this 5-bedroom monument to appearances, all while being praised as the responsible one. I was 20 when I moved back home after community college. Dad had been demoted. The mortgage was temporarily difficult, Mom said, her eyes full of rehearsed concern, just until things improved. 6 years later, Dad's salary barely covers car insurance and his hobbies, fishing excursions, golf equipment, and a collection of vintage model cars displayed untouched in glass cases. The mortgage totals $2,800 each month. My portion, $2,000. Their portion, $800. The numbers burn in my thoughts. I open the calculator and confirm what I already know. $2,000 times 72 months equals $144,000. $144,000. Not saved, not invested, not even acknowledged. Meanwhile, Corbin, 28, the self-proclaimed entrepreneur, has lived here rent-free since his $50,000 startup collapsed 2 years ago. Money our parents somehow found for him while I paid for property taxes and new gutters. And Sloane, 22, attends Riverdale Private College. Her $38,000 annual tuition and sorority fees are covered without question. Your sister needs to focus on her studies, Mom had explained when I asked why she couldn't work part-time as I once did. Responsible. Family code for provider, for ATM. The numbness fades, replaced by something colder than anger. Not fury, but finality. I am done. They left me, but they left me in the house I funded, surrounded by utilities I manage, assuming I would continue paying, waiting, maintaining. For what? The privilege of exclusion? I walk to my home office, the smallest bedroom with the ceiling stain no one else wanted. From the bottom drawer of my filing cabinet, I remove a thick 3-inch binder. 6 years of receipts. Bank statements, warranties for appliances I purchased when the originals failed. Evidence. I carry the binder to the kitchen table and open my laptop. I don't book a flight to Maui. I don't write an angry message. I don't check social media. I search for local moving companies. Most are closed for holiday, but one offers premium emergency relocation services at double price. I call. Reliable movers, this is Troy. Hi, Troy. I need to move out tomorrow morning. Is that possible? He sounds surprised but professional. Yes, though our holiday rates. That's fine. I'll need a truck large enough for major appliances and furniture. We can arrange that. 8 a.m. work. Perfect. After hanging up, I look around the kitchen. The high-end washer and dryer I purchased last year after Sloane declared the old ones disgusting. The 4-door smart refrigerator I replaced during a heat wave. The $900 espresso machine Corbin and Sloane use daily without ever buying coffee. Everything in my name. Everything paid by me. They wanted to discuss expenses, so we will. I search for studio apartments near my office and secure one with immediate move-in, paying the extra fee without hesitation. Then I begin cataloging every item I purchased. The 80-inch 4K television in the living room, the Wi-Fi mesh system, the new dishwasher. One by one, I list them in precise detail. Not out of spite, out of accounting. They will be gone 7 days. When they return expecting comfort, expecting me to maintain their lives, they will find something very different. The next morning, the moving truck arrives at 8 sharp. 3 men in blue uniforms step up. I stand in the driveway, binder tucked beneath my arm like armor.
Miss Kessler? The foreman asks. We're ready. We begin in the living room. The 80-inch television comes down first. I show the receipt. The washer and dryer follow. In the kitchen, the massive refrigerator is carefully removed, revealing dust and a fallen magnet behind it. A Hawaiian sunset from a vacation I was never invited to. The espresso machine, the Wi-Fi system. Room by room, I direct them calmly. Yes, that goes. No, that stays. Handle that carefully. By noon, the house already feels lighter. By afternoon, everything I paid for fills the truck. The movers leave for my new apartment, and I walk through the empty rooms recording video documentation of the house's condition. Then I begin making calls. Electricity, water, internet, each service scheduled for disconnection before my family returns. That night, I sleep on a blanket on the floor. In the morning, I pack my remaining belongings, leave my keys on the counter beside the unpaid utility bills addressed to my parents, and walk out. 6 years, $144,000. I lock the door behind me and drive toward my new, smaller, peaceful home. 6 days later, the family is back. I'm sitting in my new studio apartment when my phone buzzes with a notification from the Ring doorbell app I never deleted. A final loose end I deliberately left untied. The app shows the Kesslers have returned, dragging oversized suitcases up the front walk. Their faces are tanned, their shoulders slumped with travel fatigue. Brenda clutches a pineapple-shaped souvenir. Mark fumbles with his keys. Sloan and Corbin trail behind, still wearing their matching Aloha shirts. Rhett brings up the rear, his neck ringed with a plastic lei. I take a sip of my coffee, turn the volume up on my phone, and watch. "Honey," Brenda calls as Mark finally gets the door open. "Don't forget the light switch is finicky." They disappear inside. I count down in my head. 3, 2, 1. "Mark?" Brenda's voice filters through the Ring's microphone. "The lights aren't working." "Hang on," Mark replies, his voice growing fainter as he moves away from the door. "Let me trick the breaker." A minute passes. The door remains open, spilling their conversation onto the porch, where the Ring camera captures every word. "Nothing's working," Mark calls back. "The power's out." "Did you forget to pay the bill?" Brenda asks, irritation edging into her voice. "Me? You handle the utilities." I smile as I imagine them standing in the dark hallway, jet-lagged and confused. Corbin pushes past them, phone flashlight activated. His beam sweeps across the living room, then stops. "Dad?" His voice rises an octave. "Where's the TV?" The flashlight beam jerks around wildly now, illuminating empty spaces where furniture used to be. "What the hell?" Mark's heavy footsteps pound across the floor. Sloan screams from the kitchen. "The fridge is gone. Everything's gone." I watch as they spill back onto the front porch, faces pale in the dying November sunlight. Brenda's hands shake as she clutches at Mark's sleeve. "Someone broke in," she gasps. "Call 911. Mark fumbles his phone from his pocket, fingers trembling as he dials. I watch his face contort as he explains the situation to the dispatcher, describing a robbery in progress. Corbin paces the porch, his own phone gripped tightly in his hand. His brow furrows as something occurs to him. "The Ring camera," he says suddenly. "We can check the footage." Of course Corbin would think of that. The tech guy of the family, who couldn't even launch a successful startup with $50,000 of funding. I take another sip of my coffee as I watch him tap at his phone, accessing the same app I'm currently using. I know the exact moment he finds the footage from 3 days ago. His face drains of color, mouth dropping open. She took everything," he stammers. The others crowd around his phone. I can picture the video playing on his screen. Me, clipboard in hand, directing the movers as they carefully load the 80-inch TV, the smart fridge, the washer and dryer, the espresso machine. All documented, all organized, all mine. "Krista did this?" Brenda's voice breaks on my name. "But why would she?" "Because she's crazy," Sloan cuts in. "I told you she was getting weird." Mark takes the phone from Corbin, watching the footage with narrowing eyes. When he looks up, his face is rigid with fury. "She can't do this," he growls. "This is our house." I set my phone down on the coffee table of my new apartment and walk to the window. Outside, the November sunset paints the sky in shades of orange and purple. My studio is small, but the light here is beautiful. Clean. Mine. My phone starts buzzing again, not the Ring app this time, but actual calls. One after another. The same numbers over and over. No contact names attached. I pick it up and look at the screen. 52 missed calls in the span of 10 minutes. Then the texts start flowing in from my mother's number. "Krista, call me. Where are you? The house was robbed." I set the phone face down on the table and make myself a fresh cup of coffee. The buzzing continues, persistent as a trapped wasp, as I move around my small kitchen. I take my time, measuring the grounds with precision, waiting for the water to reach the perfect temperature. When I return to the window with my steaming cup, a police car is pulling up in front of my building. Behind it, my father's sedan reaches to a halt, double parking in his haste. They pile out, Mark, Brenda, Corbin, Sloan, and Red, a gesticulating mass of righteous indignation as they follow the 2 officers into my building. My intercom buzzes 3 minutes later.
"Miss Kessler?" The front desk attendant's voice is professionally neutral. "There are police officers here asking to speak with you. They say your family is with them." I take a long, slow breath, savoring the moment. 6 years of paying for a house that was never mine. 6 years of being the invisible pillar, the responsible one, the family ATM. 6 years of swallowing my resentment as they took and took and took.
The moment has arrived. The trap I set has sprung perfectly. "Ma'am, the police are here," the attendant prompts when I don't immediately respond. "With your family. Get—" I set my coffee cup down and cross to my desk. My hand comes to rest on the 3-inch binder filled with receipts, warranties, and bank statements. 6 years of meticulous documentation. 6 years of evidence. "Tell the policeman only they can come in," I reply. I pick up the binder, feeling its reassuring weight in my hands. I don't rush. This moment belongs to me. The knock comes at exactly 4:17 p.m. 2 sharp raps, official and unyielding. I've been expecting this since the building manager called. "Ma'am, your family downstairs is claiming you've stolen their television and appliances." The officer's voice is neutral, professional. He's young, maybe 30, with close-cropped hair and a name tag reading Officer Brennan. His partner, older, with salt and pepper hair, stands slightly behind, watching my face for a reaction. I don't give him one. "Please come in," I say, stepping back from my apartment door. I have coffee. The studio is small but immaculate. My 80-inch TV dominates one wall. The espresso machine gleams on the counter. Everything, I took everything that was mine, fits perfectly in this space. I've been waiting for this moment for 9 days. "Black or cream?" I ask, pouring from the carafe. "Black, thank you," Officer Brennan says, his eyes scanning the apartment. I hand him the mug, then reach for my 3-inch binder sitting ready on the counter. The weight of it is reassuring in my hands. 6 years of meticulous documentation. 6 years of receipts, bank statements, and warranties, all organized by date, item, and payment method. "This should clarify things," I say, handing him the binder. The lead officer takes it, balancing his coffee in one hand. He flips it open, his expression unchanging as he turns the plastic-protected pages. He pauses at the invoice for the TV. "This is the television they're referring to? The 80-inch 4K? "Yes," I reply. "Purchased with my year-end bonus, $2,500 plus tax." He nods, flipping more pages. His finger traces down a highlighted bank statement, then stops at a warranty card with my name printed clearly on it. He finds the bill of sale for the fridge, pauses at the washer and dryer documentation, raises an eyebrow at the espresso machine receipt. The older officer leans in, murmuring something I can't hear. Officer Brennan nods, then closes the binder. "Everything appears to be in your name, Miss Kessler," he says, handing it back. His eyes meet mine, and I see something shift there, a reassessment. "Ma'am, do you want us to file a harassment report on your behalf?" The question hangs in the air between us. 6 years of silent contribution. 6 years of being the responsible one, the ATM. 6 years of watching Corbin waste $50,000 on a startup that never started up. 6 years of Sloane's private college tuition and sorority dues being paid without question, while I covered mortgage payments that should have been my parents' responsibility. "No," I say finally. "That won't be necessary." He nods, understanding in his eyes. "We'll take care of it. Thank you for the coffee." I don't follow them to the door. I don't need to watch what happens next. Through my open window, I hear the commotion 3 floors down. My father's voice, rising in indignation. My mother's tearful protests. "It's a civil matter," Officer Brennan's voice carries up clearly. "She has provided documentation of ownership for all items in question. You need to leave the property now, or be cited for trespassing." Silence follows, then the slam of car doors. I close my window. 3 weeks later, I'm pushing my cart through the produce section of Greenway Market when I spot them. Corbin and Sloane huddled near the organic apples, scanning the store, waiting for me. I consider abandoning my half-filled cart, but something hardened inside me weeks ago hasn't softened. I push forward. Sloane spots me first, her eyes narrowing. At 22, she looks older suddenly, the privilege and certainty drained from her face. "This isn't funny, Krista," she hisses as I reach for a bag of Honeycrisp apples. "Mom is crying every day. You need to fix this." I place the apples in my cart, moving past her without response. Corbin steps into my path. His usually perfect hair is uncombed, his designer shirt wrinkled. "Just turn the internet back on," he says, desperation edging his voice. "How am I supposed to apply for jobs? You've gone too far." I look at my 28-year-old brother, really look at him. The failed entrepreneur, the eternal student, the perpetual child. "You're 28, Corbin," I say, the words falling like stones between us. "Get your own Wi-Fi." I push my cart past them, their protests fading behind me. The weight of the binder isn't in my hands anymore, but I feel lighter all the same. 2 months later, a manila envelope arrives at my door. Inside, a summons to small claims court. They're suing me for $5,000 in emotional damages and stolen property. My mother's signature on the complaint form is shaky, but determined. They've tried everything else. This is their last stand. The courtroom is smaller than I expected, with worn wooden benches and fluorescent lights that buzz overhead. My parents sit across the aisle, not looking at me. Corbin and Sloan aren't here. Perhaps they couldn't be bothered to wake up in time for the 9 a.m. hearing. Kessler versus Kessler, the clerk calls. We approach the bench.
My father speaks first, a carefully rehearsed speech about family obligations and property rights. He mentions the house, their house, and how I abandoned them without warning. He talks about the difficulties they've faced without proper appliances, about the emotional toll, about my theft of family items. When he finishes, the judge turns to me. "And your response, Miss Kessler?" I don't speak. Instead, I place my 3-inch binder on his desk. The sound it makes is final, definitive. He opens it, frowning slightly at first, then with increasing interest as he turns the pages. 5 minutes pass in silence as he reviews bank statements, receipts, and utility bills in my name. "Mr. Kessler," he says finally, closing the binder. "These items appear to be legally purchased and owned by your daughter. Furthermore, I see evidence here that she contributed $2,000 monthly toward your mortgage for 6 years while living in your home. Is that correct?" My father shifts uncomfortably. "Well, yes, but..." "And you're claiming she stole property that she herself purchased?" "It was for the family," my mother interjects. "She can't just take it." The judge's expression hardens. "Mrs. Kessler, I suggest you not speak out of turn." He turns back to my father. "This case is dismissed. And, Mr. Kessler, I would caution you about bringing frivolous claims to this court. There are penalties for perjury." The gavel comes down with a crack that echoes through the small courtroom. My parents don't look at me as they leave. I gather my binder and walk out alone, into the cold air. I don't look back. I don't need to. 4 months later, I'm sitting on the small balcony of my studio apartment. The air is cold against my skin, but I don't mind. I wrap my fingers around a steaming mug of coffee, the expensive kind Corbin used to drain from my machine without ever buying a replacement bag. My apartment isn't much, 400 square feet that would fit inside the Kessler family living room with space to spare. But every inch of it is mine. Every utility bill has only my name on it. The silence here isn't the hollow absence of people who should be present. It's peace, earned and protected. Uncle Dean called last week. He waited until he knew I'd be home from work, his voice careful when I answered. "The house is gone," he said without preamble, "foreclosed after 3 months. They couldn't make the payments." I took a sip of tea, letting the information settle. "Where are they living now?" 2-bedroom rental across town. Mark and Brenda took the master. Rhett's on the couch. Sloan and Corbin are sharing the 2nd bedroom. He paused. "Sloan had to leave Westlake. She's at community college now. Westlake University. $45,000 a year in tuition alone. Sorority dues on top of that. All while I quietly transferred $2,000 to my parents' account every month for 6 years. Krista, they're really struggling," Uncle Dean said, his voice dropping into that guilt-inducing register families perfect over generations. "Did they ask you to call me?" "Not exactly, but..." "Then they're not struggling enough," I replied, surprised by my own steadiness. "They'll figure it out. They're adults." The consequences arrived like dominoes falling. The 2-bedroom apartment, Sloan's transfer, my father having to find an actual full-time job for the first time in 15 years, my mother selling her jewelry on Facebook Marketplace. Reality, crashing down on people who thought they could fly forever on someone else's wings. I take another sip of coffee, watching the sun climb higher. My phone buzzes with a notification. LinkedIn. I top the screen. Corbin Kessler has sent you a message. I open it with mild curiosity. "Hey sis, hope you're doing well. Listen, I've got an interview at Meridian Tech next week. Any chance you could be a reference? You know how reliable I am when I put my mind to something." I stare at the message, my finger hovering over the screen. 28 years old, and still convinced the world owes him a cushioned landing. I click ignore, then block his profile for good measure. 4 months ago, I woke up in a cold, silent house, abandoned by the people who should have been there. I remember standing in that kitchen, the moment everything crystallized, the soft click of realization like a lock turning. Now I sit in my own space, smaller but infinitely more honest. My bills are reasonable because I only pay for what I need. My shelves hold books I actually read. My refrigerator contains food only I eat. People ask if I ever feel guilty. Former coworkers who heard through the grapevine, the few friends who know the whole story. They want to know if I wonder if I went too far. if I think about my family struggling in their cramped apartment while I sit here with my expensive coffee maker and my quiet mornings. I take a final sip, letting the rich flavor linger on my tongue. No, I don't. For the first time in my life, the silence is actually mine.